Joining me now, former federal prosecutor and former assistant U.S. Attorney Francey Hakes. Welcome in, Francey.
Thanks, Bianca.
So if you can, break down the case. It really sort of hinges on what many say is untested and a risky legal theory that kind of has an interplay of some pretty complex laws. How do you best describe what they're trying to get Trump on?
Oh, that's a hard question to answer, Bianca, because I consider myself to be a reasonably smart lawyer, and I had a hard time today trying to figure out what the charge would be. I started off with hush money, realizing that there's not exactly a crime. It's not a crime to pay hush money. So what would the crime be? What I was able to come up with is it has something to do with a misdemeanor offense of business records violations that only becomes a felony if you couple that business records offense with something to do with benefiting Trump's campaign. So some kind of campaign finance violation. First of all, Bianca, wow. I'm not sure why this is not outside any statute of limitations that exists normally. It's 7 years after the campaign. So I don't quite understand how they have a crime that can be prosecuted. But also, when you have to bootstrap a misdemeanor into a felony and it's records violations, you're in trouble from the jump.
Right. And Francey, the way you just described it and laid it out there, it does seem like bootstrap is the most appropriate word. So that said, he has this invitation to come in. He's not being subpoenaed. Trump and his attorneys, how do you think they respond? And obviously, it sounds like, not going in would be your legal advice. But it doesn't sound like, again, that there's anything here. There's no, again, real crime. They just seem to be going after him. Maybe some say because he's a declared candidate for 2024, and this keeps the media talking about this.
Well, it certainly does smell like politics, Bianca. And if I'm President Trump, I'm not going anywhere near Manhattan for this invitation because that seems to me to be a perjury trap. And that is, they know they just don't have very much, if any, crime against him. But if he lies to a grand jury, that is perjury, that is a felony, and that can be prosecuted.
Absolutely. And we also want to touch on the media, Joy Reid and her squad last night and their comments about this. Of course, they were defending ex-lawyer Michael Cohen, but going after Trump. Let's listen to this and get your reaction.
I think that when people look at it, whatever you might think of Michael Cohen as a witness, it is true that he went to prison for something he didn't do. And so fairness would indicate that the person he did it for is at least as culpable as he is.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Trump is ultimately the driver of this scheme.
The driver of the scheme. Joy Reid playing attorney, I guess, Francey.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Cohen committed a crime. I thought it was tax violations. I can't quite remember, but he went to prison for a crime he committed. He didn't go to prison for anything Donald Trump did. So that just misapprehends the entire nature of the criminal justice system by those supposed analysts over on MSNBC. That didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, doesn't always, does it? Francey Hakes, appreciate your time this Friday evening. Thanks so much for being with us and breaking it all down.
Thanks, Bianca.